Running. It seems that in the months over lockdown, we began to see more and more people taking part in the popular cardio rush. And it wasn't just visible down your local park either. Last year, the National Health Service reported that there had been over 1 million downloads of the Couch to 5K app. So I was one of those who caught the running bug in lockdown of last year. I haven't stopped since. I've become more competitive with my times, I've got fitter, and I feel better within myself. So what I want to do is find out if running really was the UK's lockdown antidote. However, first, let's see how participation increased last year.
Particularly when we started back the training after lockdown, we did start seeing new people coming to the group who hadn't run before, who would run on their own, and then saw groups and decided, I wouldn't mind running with a group now. And that was very encouraging to see. There was a massive sense of relief when we could finally get back to a group of 30. People were just like, it's brilliant to see people get back training together as a team where we could push each other. And it was also great then to see some new people there, because it's sort of like invigorated people or new people to run with. I've never run with them before, and a little bit more competitiveness with people. Like, this new person's here now. How good are they? And the same thing as being welcoming as well. So I think, it was good to see new people actually come into the sport and particularly training with us. It's like driving around last night before going to work, and the amount of people you just see running around the place is like, there is definitely more new faces to the place. I like to think I know a lot of people who run, and I'm quite glad to see people I don't know running, to be honest, because it shows that they're taking up the sport.
So now we know that running has boomed, but why was it so important for Brits to get into the sport during such an abysmal time?
It's taking you away from any form of, to use a blank word, oppression. It's not the oppression of lockdown that's in your mind when you're running or you're walking or doing any of these things. You're focusing on what you are achieving and where you are and that moment in time. And I think that's a very steadying thing for almost everybody I can think of. It's like having a car in your back pocket. You can just go. And that's a terrific, empowering feeling. So you've got the fitness and the health, the empowerment. I mean, these physical things are all really positive towards self-worth and definition of somebody's character in their own mind.
Very good. I don't want to say it's an easy thing to do, because we all know running isn't an easy thing. But it is easy just to put your trainers on and get out there and run. And I think once you get over that of getting out there, I think the benefits are great. It does ease your mind. You've got fresh air, especially if you've had a hard day at work. Get home, can't go anywhere because we're not allowed to, or we weren't allowed to, and you can just put your trainers on and go for a run. Clears your mind, gives you a focus, and I think for mental health, I think it's been a massive thing.
And I'm really quite impressed that so many people turned to something that was physically enriching, empowering, physically good for them. Couch to 5K suggests that people had not been running before. Or had very little confidence that they could run. So that suggests to me that there was a real take-up from people who'd never run. And that is hugely heartening, isn't it? To think that, faced with a crisis, what do? You do something that's good for you physically and mentally and is utterly unharmful to anybody else or the planet. Marvellous. If they'd really taken up, motor racing or something like that, it could have been a hell of a lot, and whatever different thing it could have been, it would have been far more harmful in so many other ways. We chose something that was really, really good, and that is quite heartening.
So you would imagine the next step for amateur runners is to join a club, and Trot's Running Club member Simon Scurrell explained why people should get involved.
Apart from the running, it's also quite good, like a social scene, really, because the club obviously does a lot of we meet every week, go to the pub afterwards for a drink and things, go for a social run. But we also do other things like a club tour every year, or we'll go to Force Lars to watch the horse racing or things. So it's quite a good, social scene as well to the running. And You get to know a lot of people from other parts of the country that you see at the races that you go to, and you see parts of the country you wouldn't otherwise visit.
So we know running has become very popular during lockdown, and the benefits of it for those involved have been made especially apparent. However, as we begin to emerge from our third and hopefully final lockdown, what does the future hold for running as a sport?
It can't have done any harm. I don't think we'll see fewer runners after lockdown than we saw beforehand. I think it's inevitable that we'll fall off. People will find other things open up and their time will simply slip away towards other activities. I mean, that is inevitable. I can't see any way around that. But a lot of people will stick with it. A lot of people will have discovered that they are capable of something they didn't know they were capable of. And while not everybody will keep it going, an awful lot of people will. A lot of people will have discovered a new dimension or several new dimensions to their life that they never knew about before.
So there you have it. The future of running looks bright. And I think you'd be right in thinking that in the next couple of weeks, when Park Run resumes, we are likely to see hordes of new runners. Granted, running isn't for everyone, and that's okay. But for those who've been involved over the last couple of months, they've been able to reap the benefits and will hopefully continue to do so. But for now, I'm off for a run myself.